Hi everyone, welcome back to Listen Up with Simran and Isha, where we dive into real conversations about life, personal growth, and everything in between. Today, we have an exciting episode lined up for you, so turn up the volume and listen up. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Listen Up with Simran and Isha. So, a couple of weeks back, we did an episode on building confidence, and it got so much good reviews. Your feedback, we loved it. And you guys wanted to know, you wanted to hear more about how we add confidence to our life. What are some actionable tips and tricks that we add to our life? First of all, if you've missed that episode, you can go back and click on the link in the description. You'll find the episode there. And today we are going to talk about all the tips and tricks and techniques that we add to our life to bring more confidence in ourselves. So Simran, what is your go-to trick to add more confidence to your day?
I think like before getting into the tricks and the tips and all that practical side of things, the honest truth is that we have to understand that there are two types of confidence. There is the inner confidence and the outer confidence. And you need both inner and outer confidence to be genuinely, authentically confident. If you're just confident on the outside and not on the inside, then you have something called fake confidence, which is something we want to avoid. So I would like to actually talk about these two aspects. I don't know if you agree with me.
Oh,
Isha.
I definitely agree. I think physical confidence is one thing, और एक mental confidence करके भी एक चीज inner confidence भी होती है. And I think more than confidence, I would like to call that together as an energy. हमारा aura, हमारी energy वो चीज create करती है. And to bring that radiant energy in yourself, I think you need to have both aspects, right?
Yeah, I think starting with the outer confidence, which is the most basic one, I would say, because I get a lot of people ask me like, how do I look more confident? And the first thing to looking more confident is feeling more confident, and you feel more confident when you look good. Look good does not mean wearing expensive clothing or expensive brands and all of that. No, doing all this makeup in the world. No, that's not what I mean. Looking good means physically appearing in a manner which is presenting yourself correctly. And that can be different from person to person. So I know for a fact, like one of my tips I would say is I have a Pinterest board, okay, which I keep for my ideal future self. And this is all the physical aspects of what she looks like. What kind of hair she has, what kind of nails she has, how does she like to dress, what does she wear. So I'm somebody who always am very conscious about this because I feel like the way you present yourself has a lot to do with how people will perceive you. Because before you even say hi to someone, a huge part of your first impression is how you look. So if I'm going to go in like baggy clothes, nobody's going to take me seriously. Nobody's going to think I'm a confident person. They're going to think I'm like a homeless person or like somebody who is messy and doesn't care about the world. At the same time, if I go in a nice crisp white shirt with nice formal pants, they'll think, oh, she's serious. She's like a businesswoman or like she's a badass. Like, so I think it's got to do with that. Like, I think I do that before I go to any event or anybody I'm going to meet. I dress up.
Oh, I love that. Even I do that. मतलब what I think is कि जब when I'm looking pretty, when I feel I'm looking pretty ना, तो confidence का level अलग ही होता है. Like I feel like when I'm talking to someone and I'm feeling pretty in myself, मैं सामने वाले के ऊपर एक अपने आप ही एक अच्छा impression create कर पाती हूँ. And I think I agree with you. Looking presentable, putting a little thought in what you're wearing. Every time you step out of the room, I think that counts. I think वो बहुत help करता है. And that's a very recent change I've added to my life. But उसकी वजह से even I feel very confident. I feel very myself. And when I'm feeling myself, I'm confident.
Yeah.
I think that's how I want to put it. I feel like a lot like myself. Oh, Isha is looking the way Isha is supposed to look. And that's why she's confident. So that is the thing I have about presentability. More than that, I think even it's not just the dress, Simran. कभी-कभी मुझे ऐसा लगता है body language बहुत फर्क करती है. When you go out, how you're walking into a room, your posture, how you make eye contact with everybody. Even if you have the biggest smile on your face. I mean, I love people who greet you with a big smile. That shows a lot of confidence. I think body language also adds to that outer confidence that we're talking about.
For sure. If I enter a room and my shoulders are down, my eyes are down, I do not want to look at anyone, I am stammering when I'm talking, automatically somebody will be like, okay, 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 that's who she is, but like, I don't want to associate myself with her. Like, theek hai, okay, whatever, she was another girl at the event, it doesn't really matter. At the same time, if I walk in like I own the world, You have to first believe that you own the world. You have to believe that you are important. Important people know that they are important, and that's why they're treated like they're important. Have your shoulders back, have your neck high, your eye contact with other people. When you shake hands, have a nice handshake, have a smile, like you said, you know. I think the biggest thing about like you, I remember when I first met you, Isha, is you had the best smile and you spoke so well. And it really attracted me. And I was like, you know what? I can do something with her because she is a very confident person and I'm a very confident person. So that is what makes somebody instantly, you know, like you. I actually liked you and I'm like, I like her, you know. So I think it's these things which kind of build that trust in the other person who, you know, is meeting you for the first time or the second, third time or whatever, you know. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I think confident action gets confident thinking in your life. Like, अगर आप confident actions लेते हो, they bring more confident thinking in your life. Internally, वो confidence को cater करती है, not just on the outside. Let's talk about some tricks, Simran, that you've been using to, you know, build your inner confidence also. Because मुझे लगता है कि यार दोनों साथ में होंगे ना, तो एक अलग ही energy create होगी around everybody. You can walk in the room wearing the best clothes, but अगर you're very very lousy on the inside, तो वो भी एक problem हो जाएगा, है ना? If you're feeling lousy on the inside, तो what is it something that you do every day maybe that when you step out in the world you feel confident?
I think I talk to myself a lot. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but what I mean by that is every morning before I start my work or go out or meet my family also in the kitchen or whatever, before I even do those things, I talk to myself and I would probably journal, I would meditate, I would say affirmations to myself or like things that I want to believe about myself. So if I have a client meeting that day, because I have clients that I work with online, and I know I want to pitch to this client and land that client, before I go into the meeting, I'm already hyping myself up. I'm already telling myself that, you know what, I have worked with so many clients. I know for a fact that I have this ability. I know for a fact I can do it. I know they're going to love my work. I know they're going to pay me whatever I ask because I deserve it. And then I go into the meeting. Now, whether the meeting is successful or not successful, my attitude has already dictated that I'm the best. And it's already changed the way that I'm entering that meeting. I'm not going in with like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm pitching too much money, maybe I'm not, you know, good enough. That narrative. So I think for me, the narrative in my mind before I even like leave my room or my bed is very important. So spending like that 15 minutes with yourself, doing either of these things, meditating, journaling, or talking to yourself in the mirror, even. I used to do that. That's completely fine because that is what's going to help you out in the world. So that's one of my things. What about you, Isha? What do you like to do? Like,
first of all, I'm taking notes of this. I'm going to add this to my life. Every client meeting I'm going to go to, this is something I'm going to practice now going forward. But I also do something like this, but it's not like in the day, early in the day. What I do is I do this little thing called countdown before the big moment. So like if I have a client meeting, before I enter that room, I'll be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Or, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I'll give myself like a ball drop. Like in the New Year's, we have the ball drop, right? So basic I countdown I'll give myself. And in my head, this works as in ki, once I say 1, the person who enters the room is very confident. Like that's my thinking. I train myself like this. Ki, once I count down to 1, I'm a confident person. End of the story. No matter what Isha is thinking before this, the Isha out after the countdown is very confident. So that's how I enter. So countdown before the big moment is like this instantly confidence को अपने अंदर लेकर आना. और जैसे हमने last episode में भी बात की थी, प्रियंका चोपड़ा says you can pick out your, you know, confidence from your purse anytime. तो उसी तरह से like you can count down to and get into the confidence zone.
Yeah, I agree because I feel like confidence is something that you have to kind of have in your back pocket, like she says. You need to be able to pull it anytime that you want. And it's like you can put it on and pull it off. And that only happens when you're every day working on it also. It's not something that, you know, like people are like, you know, Sim, you're so confident. How did you become so confident? I said, I'm way more confident than I was 10 years ago as a 15-year-old. But I know for a fact that even I have bad days. I still have insecurities. I have fears. I have doubts. I'm a human being. You're a human being. But I know that I'm not going to let them win. And that's called resilience. And that's called building that self-belief inside you. So your true confidence comes when you truly start validating yourself from the inside first, you know. And I remember I had a date once with this guy, and it was a funny story because when I went on this date, before I saw him, like obviously I saw pictures of him. Isha, he was so cute, so good looking, so well dressed. I was just like, oh my god, like, you know, this is the guy. This is the guy, you know. I go on, you know what I mean. And we are texting back and forth. And then I go on the date and we have the date. And the minute he opens his mouth, he is not looking at me. He's not talking properly. He's like, you know, like looking here and there. I'm like, is he looking at other girls? Like, you know, like all these things where I was just like, his body language was so off, and I realized that he was not genuinely confident. He was just pretending this Instagram version of himself, which was not really who that person was.
Yeah.
And obviously I didn't have a second date, but and that's why it's so important to be not just outer confidence, not just about looking like, you know, the next influencer. It's about feeling actually confident on the inside, because I think that's the most attractive thing in anyone,
Yes.
right? Like how they feel about
I
themselves.
agree. I think you and me, we've both had these incidences. Even I've had an incident like that. I met someone, and again, when you see some pictures and you see somebody, you're like, oh my god, this is such a good looking guy. And then when you walk into,
Oh my god.
I hate when guys don't make eye contact with you, or I hate when you're on a first date, they don't ask you questions like, guys, what is wrong? Ask the girl questions. पूछो यार, तुम्हें जो पूछना है पूछो, बिंदास पूछो. I would love to answer. I would love to talk to a guy for once who's very interested in my life, because I am someone like that. And I think that shows confidence because you're secure in yourself. और फिर तुम सामने वाले से पूछते हो. So I love that energy when guys, you know, exuberate that energy in a date.
And I think, like, for all, not just men, women, anybody, like how the person is talking and carrying themselves is the number one most attractive thing. Yes, of course, looks do matter, but after that, just looks are not enough to sustain that attraction, you know, or even that thing that, okay, she is a confident person. I want to work with her. I want to marry her. I want to be with her. I want to. These things happen the way you carry yourself. So it's so important to, like, really make that shift inside you before you are, you know, getting to any of these.
You know, अपने दिमाग में ये चीज डालो कि when somebody meets you for the first time, like their reaction when they go back is like, oof, I want to be that person. Oof, oh my god, that person is so, like, imagine if somebody goes back and thinks that way about you. You know, that level of confidence, if you showed someone and they go, okay, I want to be like that. I aspire to be confident like that. So, and you know, Simran, I think I've made these small shifts over a period of time, and I have got a lot of compliments from boys that you are someone who comes across very confident. Like they stumble sometimes. कि यार बहुत ज़्यादा confident हो जाती हो तुम कभी, and I'm like, okay, I pull it back though.
They're like, oh my god, but ज़्यादा confident लगती है.
वो थोड़ा pull back भी करना पड़ सकता है.
But that's nice, and I think that is what genuine confidence is about.
Yes.
Because you want to have both. You want to. A person is unforgettable not because just of their beauty. Beauty fades over time. Your looks fade. Your things fade. It is what remains is who you are on the inside, and that is what genuine confidence on the inside cannot be taken away from you. Everything else can be taken away. And that is how you remain a classic and a person who becomes unforgettable, a person who will always appear confident. So don't think that I don't think you and I were born with this confidence. We spoke about our insecurities. I remember you shared and I shared about like my acne journey, you know, all the stuff you've been told about the color of your skin and, you know, all of these things. So it's not easy to go through that. So it's not that we were also told that, oh, we are amazing people and we are, you know, so confident people. We also have dealt with our outer insecurities, inner insecurities, and dealing with that every day and still accepting yourself with it. I think that's where the game is. That's amazing shift happens. Exactly. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell one more example to you. So this is something that I practice with my interview students a lot. So I get these students who prepare for interviews with me, and उनको मैं एक trick बताती हूँ कि prepare the first question. Usually the first question is like, you know, tell me about yourself or tell me something about your resume, right? So like prepare your first question so well. इतनी बार उसको रिपीट कर लो, प्रैक्टिस कर लो, प्रिपेयर कर लो कि when that first 20 seconds of the interview happen ना, I call it the 20 seconds of bravery rule. So when that 20 seconds of interview happen, you like, I know this, I can handle this. Automatically you become comfortable in that chair. You're like, okay, now I've given the first answer. I know what's up. Now I can handle everything that's thrown my way. So that is something, a trick that has helped a lot of my students. So before every big task, I think अगर हम लोग वो 20 seconds अपने आप को बोलें कि 20 seconds of courage, 20 seconds of bravery, go for it. Just be second without any inhibition. Go for it and give your best shot. I think then उसके बाद you don't even know कि वो कैसे हो जाता है. Like just like that, it happens for you.
Literally, and I've had this from so many people, like, and then later those same students, I'm sure, must have come and told you, ki, Arey, Isha, that worked, yeah, like, shit, I got that job, or like, oh, I got it, yeah, and I'm like, how did it happen? I know that I have been in rooms where I have been not the most capable for the job, not the most good looking for the job, not the most beautiful woman on earth, but I have got what I wanted because of this thinking and this shift. And a lot of people think it's the level of education you have, or how beautiful you are, or how much naturally God has gifted you with money or like wealth or whatever. That will only take you this far. What takes you further is this extra oomph that we call it of who you are. And when you start owning that, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. Even your failures can't stop you because your failures don't define you. So you realize that, okay, even if you don't get something, it's fine. There's always going to be something which will work for you. And that becomes your thinking. You're no longer fixated on what you're bad at. You start thinking. I remember like a lot of people come to me and they're like, Simran, affirmations don't work. Have you ever felt like, because I remember when I was in a bad place in my life and talking to myself in the mirror and just being like, I love myself, I love me, I love this, and I was just looking at myself, I'm like, मैं क्या बकवास बोल रही हूँ खुद को, because I couldn't believe what I was saying. It felt very fake to me to do that. And what I realized is why people feel this way with affirmations or with things is because they don't genuinely believe what they're saying. So don't just say something like, oh, I'm amazing, I'm beautiful. If you're not feeling amazing and beautiful, say something which you can believe. So, for example, I don't know if I was going to sign that client or not, but I do know that I have signed clients before. So, I base my affirmations in facts. So tell yourself a fact about yourself which will help you gain confidence in that thing that you're going to do. So for example, like I never used to like my nose growing up, for example. I was like, but hey, I have a really nice smile. Everybody tells me I have a nice smile. So I'm like, I used to compensate the confidence I had in one thing to the other thing. And that's how I affirmed myself on facts. So it felt less fake. Like it was not like I love myself, I love myself. It was more like, what, I'm learning to love myself. And it's okay, I'm not there yet, but I know that I will get there, So it is more like a real thing rather than just something like, you have to do.
I know. Simran, there's one more underrated thing जो हम लोग इतना talk नहीं करते. I think that's a very important trick if you use. Celebrating others. That brings a lot of confidence in you.
Oh, nice.
I'll tell you how I believe in this theory. Let's say you are somebody who's on this journey. We just released an episode a while back on the messy middle. Like you're in the process of becoming. You're in the process of becoming a confident person. But you celebrate someone or you meet someone who's very confident. You compliment on that. Imagine the day when you become confident. That person will remember and you'll have 10 more people celebrating your success with you. So I love that. So if you are, somebody
I love that, Isha.
When you cheer somebody, when you are celebrating or rooting for other people, when your time does come to shine, I think there is a lot more people who are rooting for you too. So I think that is something that builds your
100%.
confidence.
I think it's very normal to feel jealous or insecure when somebody else is getting what you wanted. Somebody else is excelling and you're not. And it's very normal in that place to start questioning yourself and then, kind of hating on them that, oh, why did they get it and I didn't get it? And like, all these things. And it's normal, it's human. So don't beat yourself up for doing that. But I think what you're saying is so true that the minute you start owning the fact that they have done something well, clapping for them, you will have 20 people clapping for you. And it's not even about like the 20 people clapping for you. It's about understanding that life is all about up and down. Sometimes I'm going to be ahead, sometimes someone else is going to be ahead. And that's okay. We are not always going to stay on the top because that's not how life is. We are going to have our ups and downs. We are going to have sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But we cannot let that define us. And supporting each other is truly acknowledging that I have something special and so do you. I'm not going to let somebody else's light scare me, because I have my own light.
Ooh, I
No?
love that.
And I think with women, sometimes it happens, especially with women, I've experienced it sometimes where so when I walk into a room and sometimes I see women who are like, like kind of looking at me like, oh, okay, she's getting attention, and like, like looking in a manner that, oh, who is she? Like that kind of an energy where it's not that they're not happy for me, it's just that they're questioning, like, why is she, getting the attention, or why is she. And it's so funny because the first thing I do is break the ice with them. I go to them first before anyone else. I shake their hands, I look them in the eye, I smile, I ask their name. They ask my name. Automatically, they are the biggest supporters in the next 5 seconds. Because they realize I have eliminated this whole idea of competition, which does not exist. There is no competition. We all can be radiant and beautiful and amazing in our own way.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I don't know if you've ever, felt this or experienced this, and I think we all experience it at some level, in our lives.
Oh yes, definitely. I think I relate to this a lot, Simran. Maybe examples different हो सकती है, but I definitely agree. मैंने भी ऐसा बहुत feel किया है. And I think confidence की journey is like a step-by-step journey. It's not linear anyway. So the journey keeps on progressing. You learn something new, you add on to your life, and then, just it becomes another part that you start believing or start doing every day in your life. I think so, yes. I've related to that a lot.
Well, on that note, I think we've summed up everything about confidence, right? And I
Yes.
hope that this episode was helpful for you all, for whoever's listening, for all the tips and tricks that we shared, right, Isha?
Yes, I hope. Thank you so much for your feedback on the last episode. I hope these tips and tricks help you to build confidence in your life. And keep listening and look out for our next episodes.
Yes, absolutely. Listen up.
Listen up.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Listen Up with Sim and Isha. Hope you enjoyed the conversation and make sure to like and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay tuned and listen up.